Hello and welcome to How to Win the Lottery Season 7 graphic content Kingdom Come by Mark Waid, author, and Alex Ross, illustrator. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
It's your boy Shreds.
Shreds, I have a very important question. I'm just jumping into the thing. We can talk about whatever.
Let's jump into the thing.
Do you call this a superhero comic? Sorry. That's...
Yes, I do.
I
do call it a superhero comic. Yes, moving on. Next question.
Do you call it a Superman comic?
Oh,
because you know how people
like
Killing Joke's a Batman comic.
Yes,
but when do you consider it a Batman comic?
No.
Are there any other superheroes in this book that you would consider it a blank comic?
No,
just Superman.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. I guess the next closest thing is a Batman comic. I think Batman is the only. And we're getting into my criticisms of this book real early.
Within the first minute.
I think Batman is the only character that is properly represented in this book.
Okay. So you have we talked about this in the intro with Heather, that I have a very sort of limited, I grew up on a couple DC comics or whatever, but I don't really have a sense of who these people are.
Uh-huh.
I know that Clark, when he finally goes by Clark again, orders milk at a restaurant at the end, which I was like, okay.
That's real Clarky.
Very Clarky. But yeah, so Kingdom Come. I'm gonna try to describe it this time without asking you. So Kingdom Come is I think it's is it alternate reality? Is there a book we should have read before this or no?
No.
Is Magog a character that existed before this or no?
I don't think so. Do you know who Magog is?
No.
They
look like a Norse person.
Well, in the Book of Revelation.
Okay. Oh, there's Gogs and Magogs.
Yeah, Gog and Magog are they rise up to team up with the Antichrist, I think, to destroy the planet.
Okay. So there was
so it's on the nose to have a hero named Magog that goes bad and
but goes bad off screen previously. And something happened to Kansas?
Yeah.
Did that happen in a book that ever existed? It's just
no.
It's just backstory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he pierces the what is it? The atom, the parasite, who is a Superman villain.
Okay.
Pierces the atom in a fight in Kansas and causes a nuclear explosion.
Okay. Because a lot of this book, I was I don't know if these are things it didn't hold me back, but I was just I don't know if these are things that I should know.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, that never happened, that happened in another book, that a famous book that they're playing off of. But this is basically this is self-contained. You can read this as is.
Yeah.
So we are 10 years after something happens, what you just said, they pierce an atom, nuclear blast takes out Kansas, and Superman has basically gone into hiding. And all of the superheroes we know, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, have all kind of gone dispersed. And now there's a new wave of metahumans who have basically kind of eradicated bad guys, but now they've become kind of the bad guys because they're all just fighting each other because they're built to fight basically, and there's nothing to fight but each other, so they just kind of are very annoying throughout the world. And Superman's we gotta take care of these guys, sort of.
Yeah.
While that's happening, there's also the should we bow down to gods or should we let humans be rulers? And there's a lot of political machinations between different groups.
Classic Lex Luthor.
Yes.
We don't have to listen to Superman. He's an alien.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guest on our planet. We should be the people in charge. We shouldn't let metahumans.
As he's in a room with Selena Kyle and the Riddler, and also, gasp, Batman.
Yeah.
Because Batman's I'm just a dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's kind of what it's about.
That is kind of what it's about. And then there is the very Christmas Carol aspect to it.
Oh yeah, because they exist beyond time.
Where the Spectre is bringing this preacher character.
Is the preacher character a thing, a person we know? No, it's okay.
But he is friends with the original Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever, whatever that is. And then the Spectre is taking this preacher character from place to place saying look at this. Look at this. Imagine a world in which this is happening. Oh, remember when your parents gave you this on Christmas, and this is the thing that made you unhappy all the time.
And then at one point, the Flash is yoink, what are you guys doing here? It's just oh, right, you can exist beyond time too, which is kind of funny.
The preacher is being anchored. He is the anchor for the Spectre being on Earth because the Spectre needs a human avatar,
Mm-hmm.
and that under the pretense that he is going to make the decision at the last minute whether or not the superhumans will win or the gods will win, whether to let them drop nuclear weapons on the superhumans or to interfere and have that be deterred.
Yeah.
Which is a MacGuffin because what he decides doesn't matter at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because Shazam ends up fucking everything
I'm sorry,
up.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, yeah. Billy Batson.
Yeah. So this is a book that I think I would like a lot more the next time around because it feels like it intersects a few things that I really, really love.
What are they?
Scary biblical shit.
Yeah, sure. I like that too.
Superhero comics that really aren't superhero comics.
Which is why I think maybe it was a flawed choice for us for this.
Yeah, but also like
because we don't have any superhero comics on the list other than this. So to pick one that is a deconstruction of superhero comics rather than a superhero comic itself. But it is very much superhero comic in other ways. So
well, because there are definitely like panels where like there's there's the moment where like Batman and crew like swoop down and you're like, hell yeah, like this rules. Like there's like things in here that are definitely like traditional superhero comics and like battles between Superman and Captain Marvel at the end and whatever. But yeah, a lot of it's just like Clark's like just being a guy in Kansas. Like I don't want to do this. Or not, sorry, Clark, Cal.
Yeah, and it is, which is funny because Cal is like just another stupid ass American name, like Clark,
but not with a K.
No.
And I also love the art. Like I think the art is beautiful in a way that like I was not like I had seen. I shouldn't have done this because I've been changing like almost every single one of them. But like before each season, I make episode art for the website for cageclub.me, and I use just like art. So I kind of knew, and then especially specifically this season, I'm like, no, I'm gonna use like a splash image from like every book, and just like use actual like art from the book. But like so I kind of knew roughly what this would look like, but still like the watercolor, like sort of not pastel, but kind of like old timey.
Well, it's like Norman Rockwell.
It's so cool looking.
Yeah, and no one else.
Is this Alex Ross's style?
Yes,
in everything he draws.
I think so.
Okay,
at least the stuff that I know that is like famous. I'm sure that before, it's possible that. I mean, again, I didn't do this research, but I'm imagining.
You never do research.
I'm imagining that if you are like turning in your first book and you give them this, they're going to be like, "Go get it the fuck out of here," or like you're not going to have the resources to do this for your first book ever. You know?
Well, can you describe what you described to me, like the way that he paints models?
Yeah, I believe that he hires models for each individual,
like actual people as models
for each individual panel, and has them pose and then paints. To create the.
I cannot imagine.
Well,
the workflow.
Yeah, it would be impossible for someone to sustain a career like that. The way that the way that a lot of artists are drawing like multiple books a week, or multiple books a month. He must work at a much slower pace than a traditional illustrator,
but still, like it works.
Yeah,
right?
and it's made his name in a very big way. These sort of Norman Rockwell style. It's not oil painting. What do you say it was? Gouache.
It's like Gouch. Yeah, gouache. I think.
Yeah,
if you pronounce like that.
And so he's creating these like truly iconographic depictions of these figures that are icons, right?
Yes.
So there are like traditional images that we have in our head of Superman, and Alex Ross has entered into that canon alongside like a handful of other people.
This also takes place at an era where like the Dark Knight Returns is where like Batman's older, right? And he's just like, I kind of don't want to be doing this anymore.
When did the Dark Knight Returns come out?
Mid-80s?
Okay, so this is 1996. Oh, yeah. Do you mean like as far as like
I'm
this is
I'm
the future?
talking about in terms of like Batman's age.
Yeah.
Where like Batman's like an old guy.
Yeah. We're fascinated with this idea of Batman getting old. I don't know why it's always Batman getting old, because it's like one thing in all of comics that's interesting is that I want to say that all of comics is supposed to, at least this is the way that Marvel goes. I'm much more of a Marvel person than a DC person. I think Marvel comics, everything is supposed to have taken place within a 7-year period.
Really?
I think so.
And DC's like, Metropolis isn't real. Don't worry about it. It's lifetime, baby.
Yeah. Well, like we can do whatever we want.
I think that DC approach is cooler. Like I see the benefits of the Marvel thing, but it's also like seems insane.
Well, it doesn't make sense. If you think about it for 2 seconds, it doesn't make sense because you're just like, are you like getting into like an epic world changing battle every single day
Seemingly.
of your life?
I mean, I think there is something to the like, which also is played in here, but in the MCU movies, like one thing I think they do effectively seed over the course of the dozens of movies or whatever is that like as these like very wealthy, very powerful superheroes save the world and leave destruction, people get angry and use the technology that exists because of these superheroes to like become even more powerful themselves. And like there's like this sort of like, it's not trickle down economics, but it's like the same kind of thing where it's just like, well, these guys are messing stuff up, so like I'm going to use what they use to like become as powerful as them, and then like everyone like levels up.
Yeah, it is a question that has to get asked. It gets asked all the time in Batman comics, but this idea of like, do these characters exist if Batman doesn't exist?
Right.
Are all these super villains in Gotham around?
Also, we find out that Arkham Asylum was nuked or was bombed, and like nobody exists anymore.
Yeah,
It's just like, whoa, okay. And like Batman's just got like spider robots that are like going around the city, like taking out like low level thugs. It's like, they're like, what about Gotham? It's like, Batman's got that under control. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Gotham is under control. Central City is under control because the Flash never stops moving. He's just shooting back and forth, solving all the crimes all the time. You never stopping things from happening.
Green Lantern's protecting from aliens in outer space somewhere.
Yeah.
And Aquaman is just like, fuck off.
Yeah. Good. My main problem with this book, which kept me from enjoying it I mean, the thing that I enjoy about this book is the art. The story I'm not that crazy about, largely because it seems to, at every opportunity, even when characters are clashing with each other under the idea of saving innocent lives, it seems to promote fascism.
Well, there's the thing, and I think that there's an interesting, I don't know if it's ever been really, I'm sure it's been done well. I don't know what the best, you would probably maybe know, but like Superman has always been like, he's America's great hope. He's you know, the man of tomorrow, whatever. Yeah. And people are like, no, he might be wrong.
Right.
And there is something where he is just like, it has to be this way.
Yeah.
And people are like, I'm not sure. And I don't mind that. I think that there is, because I think there's appropriate and proper like pushback against that in this. But there is the thing where like things are bad and Superman is the only one who can fix it. And people
because might is ultimately right. Like he's the strongest one and he can do the best punching. And that makes us have to listen to him. Yeah. Ultimately, we have to listen to him because he can beat us all up.
But I think to counter your criticism, I think that like there's multiple characters in the book are just like, no.
Well, kind of, but Batman,
because Superman's not. I think this book does a good job of like saying like Superman's not right. He's just the loudest voice in the room.
So who's right though then? Because the other two characters that are also fascist,
I don't think anybody's right. But I think there is something. Again, I don't want to generalize. But I think as people become older, they become more conservative and they're like, I'm right. And they become more stubborn. So I think that like, as much as you might not want to see a Wonder Woman who's like, even like, Superman, fuck off. Like, I'm going to do this my way.
Yeah.
I think there is some kind of kernel of truth to that.
Maybe. But it amplifies, it amplifies this idea in comics that is always a concern of mine, that is like, we solve problems with violence and violence exclusively. And this book seems to be criticizing that in showing like all the new heroes will just like, they turn to violence first and they kill first. And Superman is mostly concerned with blah, blah, blah. But then his solution to that is to put them in a fucking gulag. And then they're there. It's literally a quote unquote re-education camp.
Right. Well, I think that is also countered later in the book though, too, where after Batman has teamed up with Lex Luthor, it feels weird to be talking about this kind of thing after we've talked about like so many different like quote unquote real books. But anyway, I do enjoy it. Where Batman's like, you set this path, man. Like this is all like you started the dominoes. And he's like, no, like whatever you think, we have the same thing, that we don't want people to die. And Batman's like, all right. So I think that there is something where like, even though Superman has been wildly, radically wrong and made a lot of bad decisions, at the end he's just like, a lot of people are going to die because of me, and we need to stop that. And I think that like, the book does say, violence is the only, or whatever. It's critical of that, but also he's just like, he puts words into action, or action into whatever, eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I also think that
maybe it's too muddied of a message. I don't know.
Well, it's also only 4 issues, and like I think if the and
they're long issues. Though.
And I think that probably part of the reason why it's only 4 issues is because of how labor intensive Alex Ross's art is going to be. But if this could be a 12-issue book, you would get, for example, Green Lantern could talk a little bit. Flash could have his say in some things. You could have characters, because there's a lot of background stuff going on and a lot of deep DC history and a lot of like, you know, all of these heroes have these long pasts and long relationships. And if you could flesh these out and have deeper conversations about it, I think that would enhance the book significantly. And I could do away with the Spectre and the guy on their Christmas Carol journey. Like,
is that just like, I don't really understand that frame. Is that just to like why we are in the room where we are?
Yeah, it's a framing device. And
we don't need that, though.
Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need a framing device. And it's a way to like have a literal like commentary on everything that's happening. Right. So someone is just going like, you know, it's an expository device so we can know what's happening. And like,
but it's also like we know what's happening.
Yeah, we don't need that kind of exposition, I don't think.
Is that the not trusting your audience thing, or is that just like we think this is a clever way to do it?
I think we think it's a clever way to do it, because other than that, I think it's a pretty dense book that does
very dense.
Like I don't think the story is necessarily all that hard to understand. I do think that it relies on you knowing a significant amount of DC history and things like that.
That's where I was like kind of confused. Like, and I think rereading it would help me, that knowing like you don't need to, like you need to know stuff, but you don't really need to know stuff, right? Like everything, like to understand the specific story, like everything is contained within the text.
But it helps if you know, Parasite, helps if you know the Atom, helps if you know Power Girl, helps if you know,
like I don't know any of that.
All of this stuff. And then when they're fighting at the end, it's like you have all these like what is like an epic battle, but really there are only 3 voices in the room, and it's Batman.
Like that's what I think is kind of is cool about this, and I'm not sure how people would have reacted to it, because like to someone who like DC Comics is their thing, and in the 90s like they're reading everything, to have this come out and be like so radically different in look and in style, and also like kind of be like fucking with the characters you like I think there's I would imagine probably turned off a lot of people, but also like people who were more open to it and knew and had the history and had the context and had the backstory and whatever, and were willing to like let storytellers play on what they want. You know what I mean? Like I think that'd be really cool, but I can see like just be like, well, it's not my Superman, I'm not gonna read this.
Right. It's also like in some ways an Elseworlds book, right? Like there's not, you don't have to think of it as something that's going to fuck up the canon, because it's something that's happening in the future. And so anything that happens between now and when this thing is supposed to happen can change that future so it doesn't happen.
Yep.
Which is like has always been one of the fun things about comic books, that you can just like, pop into the future real quick and go like, okay, now imagine this. Imagine if this were happening. This happens in this world. And yeah, DC's always been really, really good with that.
I think what I like about this book is that it, and I maybe wish we got more of it, is like it posits a world where like these superheroes are just like I mentioned the restaurant, but like the restaurant's like all superhero themed, where all the waiters are in the costumes, like all the food, and like it just seems lame as shit. And I think that's very cool. Like I think it's just like, of course that would be, and like
of course, yeah.
And the same way that you see kids like wearing a Superman shirt around today, right? Like, whatever. But I was wondering, like, as Superman is like a real person, like if sports fandom would mean less because you're like, well, I'm a superhero. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
like you see like there's the one shot like when Superman returns, like you see like a little kid in like a Superman shirt next to a little kid like in a Green Lantern shirt or whatever, and he's like pointing at the sky.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, that's my guy. Like that's like, I'm not like a Giants fan, like I'm a Superman. You know what I mean?
This is kind of the premise for God, I can't remember. Is it Wildstorm? Well, it's the Rob Liefeld's book at Image, when he started at Image. Wildcats, I think it's called Wildcats.
I can't Google it.
And he was like presenting a world where superheroes are celebrities.
Yeah.
Which is like exactly
because
how it would play out.
They
would be. They'd be on the cover of Time. They'd be on the cover. Like Superman would have a folk album. Probably.
We would be so annoyed by all of them all the time.
Yeah, yeah. But then you'd have your favorites too. You'd be like, I'm like a big Daredevil guy.
Yeah.
He's my guy. I like Daredevil.
Of course you would be.
Or like, it's interesting, like,
because you love the law.
It would be, yeah, that's why. No, they don't know. You wouldn't know that Daredevil was Matt Murdock.
I guess that's true.
You would later on, I guess, because he's...
as a big journalism guy, I love Superman. It's like, why? Well, I don't know. It just feels right.
Yeah. But
I'm so
like
dumb
something,
sometimes.
something that I have actually always been interested in comics is like this idea that like, New York has so many superheroes, but it's like there should just be like a Marvel book that is like Des Moines, and then Des Moines has like the Alligator Boy or something like that, and
It's just like one dude.
yeah, and he's like, I'm the big superhero here, and it's just like you drop him in any major city and he'd just get the shit kicked out of him, but
He's got Des Moines on lock.
yeah, he's like the big shit in Des Moines. Right?
I mean, I think that's like the premise between like J.W. Stillwater, like the vigilante crime fighter, just like, well, like Cumberbatch County needs a superhero, so it might as well be me, right? Like it's just like, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Someone should do that book though. There should be more like, because there's like the Great Lakes Avengers and stuff like that, which is like kind of that premise. It's like these are smaller time heroes.
I mean, I guess you would also, I don't know. Yeah. Because you could also be like, well, Superman can just like zip on over there and like take care of business. Like, but
right.
he's got other stuff to do. I don't know. But yeah, that would be fun. Also, like nobody would buy it. I mean, like we would buy, but it's just like nobody wants to see like they want to see the characters they know, right? But maybe I don't know.
Yeah, but that's the danger with
you would need like
introducing new characters.
The most popular comic book writers and authors in the world and illustrators in the world just to be like, we're doing this series and like you love the writers, like read these books about characters you will never hear from again.
Every time that a new hero gets introduced, it's like that, and you have to like the last. I don't know what the timeline is, but like when Miss Marvel came out, like that was a big deal.
Is it in the last like 10 years?
Yeah, probably.
10, 15 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
G. Willow Wilson. And that book, like, she became such a good character largely because G. Willow Wilson is amazing.
Yeah.
And so like that became really popular. But that's Jersey City. Give me a character in Spokane, give me a character in
But Jersey City does feel far enough away from New York. It's like I'm not a New York character.
Yeah.
But like still like, Daredevil can pop over if he needs to.
Mm-hmm. If you can find it.
Ableist.
Very ableist, yeah.
I think
my bad, blind folks. Let's get back to Kingdom Come, which is the name that I would name a porno that if I were
his name, Johnny Kingdom.
Yeah.
I think so. What's a little funny because our last book this season is Ragnarok, and in this book they keep like Ragnarok is coming. I know that's like a Norse, like what they're playing on, but it's funny to me that like they're going that. But I do think like each chapter starting with these like gorgeous gothic, biblical, like beautiful, like smoky paintings. I'm just like this is setting such a good tone. Mm-hmm. And then, we just jump to like still beautiful art, but like differently beautiful art. I'm just like, kind of want like that. Oh,
you want an Alex Ross like illustrating Dante's Inferno?
Yeah,
that would be cool. Yeah. Do you feel? How do you feel about this superhero medium? Is it for kids or is it like?
I think it's for everybody. I think
it's for everybody.
I think it's designed for kids that like it grew up as fans grew up. Mm-hmm. I think it's weird when adults are like, this is my favorite thing in the world, but also I don't begrudge them.
Yeah, but is it weird to, like when you're saying like you wish that this were applied to Dante's Inferno, like is it weird then to apply a level of craft like Alex Ross to something as silly as like superpowered people punching each other?
No, I think it adds, like I wouldn't want someone who like, well, I don't really care. I think good art's good art.
I agree, yeah.
Like I was gonna say I wouldn't want someone like this using all of his time on this, but like if he's doing like 2 of this book a year, like I would read both of those books, like whatever the content is, right? So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that was an exploratory question. I like I love comics and I love superhero comics, even though
I also think I want to go back to clarify like when I say like when adults think this is my favorite thing, like specifically the MCU, when it's just like the MCU is my favorite thing, it's just like
yeah.
Especially now.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry. I just don't want people to be like...
right into Joey, care of
Lottery,
Cage Club.
Lottery at cageclub.me.
No, because I get those emails too. Just write them into Joey at cageclub.me.
Yeah, I'll get it. And then I'll forward them to shreds. No, because I do think that like they were meant for like, well... I guess like the detective comics, like the Batman, were not for kids,
right? But only at a certain point, right?
Right, and but that, like, I think like the comics my dad grew up on like were meant for like 5-year-olds in the 50s, probably, right? And then as those people grew up, or as the people who were reading them grew into people who were making the art, were just like, well, what if I told it a more adult story or whatever? And I think, you know, like the Frank Miller stuff in the 80s, and I don't have great historical context for this, but I think they're like, no, this can be for. Like this should be
sure, yeah.
You understand the comics? Like this is art. This is like actual narrative storytelling,
right? Yeah, I think there's a long history of like EC comics and stuff like that.
What does that mean?
Oh, EC comics was the comics from Tales from the Crypt, and things like that from way back before the code, and then they had to put the code in place because blah 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 blah.
I also do think that like a closed, like the same thing that you have picked every book this season, or you and Heather picked every book in terms of like a contained story.
Yeah.
I think those are more inclined to be for adults because it's like, I think the like ongoing like issue 477 or whatever, I think we've talked about, I don't know if we talked about it here or not, but like kids have more time than money and like they can read 477 comics, whereas an adult's just like, I can't do this every week, but like I can read a book of 4 over the course of like a week or weekend or whatever. Right. So
it's interesting.
I actually don't know if that's true, but it feels like maybe it's true.
Well, it's just about, budgeting your time. You instead of like watching Monday Night Football, you could read, comic. And plenty of adults watch Monday Night Football, right?
We could also read a comic while Monday Night Football is on.
Yeah.
So,
which is what I do. I don't read comics, but during the Super Bowl, I which is like, I don't really watch football that much, but I'll watch the Super Bowl. But like during the commercials, I mute it and I read a book. And I normally finish a book while watching the Super Bowl, just while reading during commercials.
I watch all sports on mute and listen to music or listen to podcasts.
That's the way to do it.
Or read a book.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. It's a good way to like catch up on media that is not visual.
Yeah. Although books are visual.
Sometimes.
I mean, reading a book, you're using your eyes. It's not like...
Yeah.
But yeah.
You can listen to an audiobook though. That's not visual.
Do you have a favorite character in this?
No. Like I
might hate them all?
No. The 3 that are present, really, as I have my concerns about each of them as being
Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
Politically bad news. My favorite DC character has always been the Flash. And
do we even see the Flash? We just see blurs.
You just see blurs. And he doesn't get to talk really at all. I also like Green Lantern. I'm honestly not even sure which Green Lantern this is in this book. I assume it's Hal Jordan.
Is the character who's in the... Apologies, people listening, I don't know what it's called, but like the thing, like the spaceship or whatever that they're in at the end, or that Superman like and his people are in, is the guy who's in there who kind of looks like Batman, is that supposed to be Robin? Is that Robin? Like with the cowl? Or no?
Yeah, Robin is in it. Robin is the
But like Robin doesn't look like the Robin I know. Like he doesn't look like Dick Grayson with like the little mask. He's got like a Batman cowl on, kind of, or no?
I don't even really remember, to be honest. See if I can find him. But yeah, as far as DC is concerned, my favorites have always been like not the major ones. I like Superman. I like Wonder Woman. I like Batman. But like I've always preferred the Flash and Green Lantern.
They no longer fight for the right. They fight simply to fight their only foes, each other. The superhumans boast that they've all but eliminated the supervillains of yesteryear. And like you just see people like bloodied in hospital, just like, oh, we're the casualties. I think this is a very cool splash panel of them coming down.
Yeah, that's the iconic one. That's the one that's like...
And this is going to be the episode art, the Superman fighting Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I love that. Let me see if I can find Robin, though. But you know, like, there's nobody here like that you really were like...
That I'm rooting for, no. There's nobody in this story that I'm rooting for.
Because I guess like it does follow... The 3 main characters, like you're just saying, are 3 that you don't really agree with.
Yeah.
Philosophically.
Yeah. Their point of view in this book leaves a lot to be desired, in my humble opinion.
Is there a different, like, without radically shifting the narrative or what they were doing here, is there a different way that you would have approached this to like make this more of a book that you want to read? Because I think to me it's an interesting twist on the superhero narrative. I understand the fascism thing, but I think it also pushes back enough against it.
Well, my question is like,
this guy, is that... No, that's not Robin. Who's that?
Oh, that's Power Man.
Oh, Power Man 5000?
Yeah.
Who's Power Man?
Just a guy. I don't know. There's too much like...
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like he kept popping up. I'm just like, because they're like saying Robin. I'm just like,
yeah.
Do we see Robin?
Yeah, I think you do. I don't know. Maybe that is Robin. I thought that was Power Man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't super matter. I'm just like, is this Robin? I don't know. Anyway, question, rewriting this, make it better, so on and so forth.
A concern of mine with all of the superheroes, like I'm always concerned with the fascist question in the superhero genre. What would I do? I don't know. You have to inject some degree of someone approaching this circumstance with ideas of nonviolence. And if I were writing it, that character would probably be Wonder Woman instead of having her be so like over the top general leading a battalion into war, because that's
so instead of having her break one way, you'd have her break the other way, kind of.
Yeah, I would have her try to try to de-escalate instead of escalate it. And I don't know how that works. I mean, Mark Waid is obviously a better writer, better plotter of comic books than I am, but I just the approach here, I think, from a political perspective is very difficult. And I like all sorts of art that I don't agree with politically. But I think that having all three sort of break in a similar direction when they're
even though the comic is like they're breaking in different directions.
Yeah, when they're supposed to be in conflict with each other, like all of that strikes me as being.
They're all basically telling each other that their fascism is wrong.
Yeah,
my fascism is right.
Yeah.
Are Superman and Wonder Woman canonically or often sexually, like romantically linked?
No, Superman's with Lois.
I know, but like in this book, the coda is, Wonder Woman got knocked out by Superman.
Right. I think I don't know. I know that they're, like even in Tom King's run on Batman, when Batman is fully involved with Catwoman, like Batman goes to a separate world with Wonder Woman, and like they have a relationship in the space of like they go to another world where time there, like a second on Earth is an infinity there. So they're like together there for 1,000 years or something like that.
But he's only unfaithful to Selena Kyle for a second on Earth.
Yeah, but like he has a relationship with Wonder Woman in this,
Bruce.
thing for 1,000 years or whatever. I honestly, this is unfortunate, but it happens in every single piece of art that is serialized. Like, for example, I'm going to give you like high school teen drama, right? If you look at like Dawson's Creek, or something like that, by the end of that show, both Michelle Williams and Katie Holmes will have hooked up with every guy
I guess
on
the
the
thing,
show.
like, in the Justice League, it's only Wonder Woman and a bunch of dudes.
So you're going to have Wonder Woman in a relationship with each of those men at some point.
Right.
And then, like, because you have this infinite timeline, it's just like, we have to figure out different things to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going, like, who are the major characters that she can be romantically involved with if we need her to be romantically involved with characters?
Right.
Because, like, she should be, canonically, she's with Steve Trevor, right? I don't know that much about Wonder Woman. I'm certainly not an expert, but
I almost said Steve Trevor. You mean Captain America? Different thing altogether.
But
different Chris, but still a Chris.
But not that different. World War I instead of World War II. But like, it's that thing where it's like we have to have her romantically involved with a bunch of different people.
Yes.
You see it in Marvel too, with like Captain Marvel's been with Spider-Man. She's been with
Really?
Yeah, she's been with a bunch of different people. So like it ends up in this like rotating thing of like, well, we have to have them dating. We have to have, and who should they date? They should date other superheroes. And so you end up with this, because the story is 40 years long, you end up with them dating everybody.
They should date Alligator Boy from Des Moines.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Hey guys, this is my boyfriend, Alligator Boy.
Alligator Boy, yeah.
What do you do? Oh, I protect Des Moines. Oh, okay, cool, man.
Yeah. Alligator Boy hangs serious dong. That's canonically, Alligator Boy is a gifted lover.
I love it. And Wonder Woman's like, he's my guy. They're like, respect. Okay.
Yeah, wait, is Alligator Boy Marvel or DC? I was thinking that he was Marvel.
Well, he would have to be Marvel because it's Des Moines. It's not like
that's right. Yeah,
Cornfield, Iowa.
Yeah. So it's Des Moines. So
like maybe Captain Marvel.
Right. Even like it's better. It's way better because like there's no fucking alligators in Des Moines. Right. Alligator Boy makes sense in Florida. But like him being in Des Moines, it's just like a bunch of people going like, "What is this alien creature?"
So does he fight with alligators? Does he combat alligators? Does he use the power of alligators?
No, he's like a regular guy. He's just got a big alligator head.
I think I say a big alligator dong.
No,
I was like, please don't say that.
No, he's got a big alligator head.
But like, that's not his head, or is it his head?
It's his head. Yeah.
So his head is not a mask.
It's not a mask, and then he's got a big tail too.
And is a gifted lover.
He goes without saying, but then like he's also like he's got his secret identity.
Is Killer Croc? Does he have an actual head, or is he a human head or a crocodile head?
I think he's got a human head. But it's weird.
Okay.
Oh, look at like Alligator Boy would like his name is Chad Ranger, and he's like a 19-year-old, but he like he still has to make money and shit. So he's like, he does like online stuff from his home because he like can't go because he's like
he's real into crypto.
Everyone would know that he was Alligator Boy because he's got a big alligator tail and a big alligator head. So he does like what's that, like drop shipping or whatever.
Oh yeah,
and he's like really in and like
a notoriously automated process that he's somehow micromanaging from home. And
like half of all the Alligator Boy comics are him like managing his drop shipping business. But then he like has to but then he's got to go out and like stop some robbers, and the robbers are running away from him, and he's just like, they're
like, Shreds, this is a 23 issue comic. He spent 19 of them at his computer.
Yeah, doing drop shipping.
All right, he's gonna go get the mail or something.
Yeah,
man, I would read Alligator Boy.
It would be good, right?
You should draw Alligator Boy.
Yeah, okay, I will.
And then sell it on spec to Marvel.
Yeah. Des Moines, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then like he's got a real problem. Like maybe one time he bit the Hulk. And so like whenever the Hulk comes through Des Moines, he's like, Alligator Boy's got to go into hiding.
Oh.
Because the Hulk is still real mad at him for biting him that one time.
By accident or on purpose?
No, he bit him on purpose. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Alligator Boy's not afraid of anybody.
Clearly.
He still has to go into hiding though, because the Hulk will kill him.
Would I kill somebody who bit me? No. But the Hulk's always angry. He's angrier than I am.
He's pretty angry, yeah. Oh, we've gotten so far. Read Meg's email.
We have an email address, lottery@cageclub.me. If you want to write in about this or any book we've read or otherwise. Our friend Egg wrote in Meg's reaction to Kingdom Come. I really enjoyed Kingdom Come, but I think I might have liked it more if I was more familiar with DC Comics and heroes.
Uh-huh.
I also sorely missed Swamp Thing. I feel like he would have added...
Yeah, he would have. He really would have.
Such a snooty DC fangirl thing to say.
No, but it would have, like, Swamp Thing would have added an element to this that would have been
sure.
Which is, again, like, this is like a 4-issue thing but like imagine Alex Ross drawing Swamp Thing. It'd be so beautiful. I
feel like you could just ask Midjourney, be like, hey, draw me Swamp Thing in the style of Alex Ross. Be like, all right, here you go.
I'm not doing that. You keep fucking with your AI. Jesus Christ.
I feel like he would have added a lot to the story. There was a thing that I think I sent it to Tub Talk. Do I believe Tub Talk? No, I don't believe Tub Talk. Where it was like, I'm never gonna find it, but there was like this guy just like imagining like what this art would have been in the style. Like he like goes to AI, like he uses AI or whatever. And like the world ends, and like the person he was just like, you could have commissioned it. Like you just could have asked somebody to like draw it for you. He's like, no, I got it, whatever. Anyway, Kingdom Come, Egg writes, did what my favorite stories do: humanity's goodness triumphing over evil. That's putting it a bit simplistically, but I love the fact that it was Norman McKay, who's someone who was just a person, being able to talk Superman down from going on a rampage. So she likes the framing device.
Yeah. Okay.
All in all, a great comic, one I had a lot of fun reading.
Framed like that, I like it better. Like, yeah.
Interesting. Wow. The egg changing your mind.
Mm-hmm.
There's something cool about like humanity, not even humanity, but like Earth's most powerful, again, even on Earth, the most powerful being, a preacher just like, hey man,
yeah,
stop it.
Yeah.
Although, is there like do you feel weird at all that like that religion triumphs over? I mean, it's a godly thing. I don't know.
No, I like religion. I think it's cool.
Okay.
I got no problem with religion.
Well, keep reading and keep praying.
Yeah. Well, don't keep praying. I don't like religion that much. I
got no problem with religion.
I'm of two minds on this. Today's crime is what's going on? What's going on in the world that I don't feel like getting into right now?
Well, this comes out in February.
Yeah. Today's crime is not having a Valentine.
Does this come out in February? Oh yeah, this is our Valentine's Day episode.